Thanks for downloading another segment from the Best of the Classic Metal Show. The Classic Metal Show is heard live on Saturdays from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern, exclusively at www.theclassicmetalshow.com. And now here's another piece of Classic Metal Show history on the Best of the Classic Metal Show.
The Classic Metal Show.
All right, right back here on the Classic Metal Show. Now, any of you that listen to the Classic Metal Show, you guys certainly know that everything we play is filled with great guitar players, but not too many of them as great as this guy. On the phone right now, the one and only Gus G. Gus, how you doing, man?
I'm fine. How are you?
Excellent, Gus. Well, dude, Firewind is back with another album, and as always, your guitar is smoking. So once again, congratulations, bro.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, Gus, you know, the new album, The Premonition, it kind of picks up basically where you guys left off with the last record. For you personally, what was different about making this record than, you know, the last couple that you've made?
What really felt much better was that we have the same lineup since Allegiance, the previous album, and it made things a bit smoother, so to say. You know, I mean, the songwriting process was smoother, and you know, generally everything came together a bit more easier, so to say. You know, we basically followed the same, you know, recording process as last time. We sort of say kept the winning team together, you know, if I can say that. We even recorded the same studio with Fredrik Nordstrom in Sweden. And the main difference with this album, I mean, is that there's actually more guitars than on the previous one.
Sure. Well, Gus, you brought up Fredrik Nordstrom, and that was one of the things I noticed when I first got The Premonition, was that he was the producer where I believe you produced the last two records, right?
I did, yeah, I did.
Why the change this time?
I think I've always been producing the albums, except our albums, except the first couple where David Chastain produced them. The reason for that is that I guess I know how I want the band to sound like, and working together with an engineer like Fredrik. I've known this guy for 10 years. You know, I've done many albums with him, so you know, he knows the sounds that I'm after, and he knows the sounds that I want. So it makes things really easy, and you know, he delivers killer sounds in no time.
Sure. Now, Gus, you know, you are no stranger to bands. I think you've played in more bands than any 5 guitar players that I could line up next to you. But a couple of years ago, you really kind of focused everything toward Firewind. You know, you pushed the other projects aside and made Firewind your priority. A, why did you do that? And B, do you still get the itch to go out and play with a bunch of different players?
Actually, I decided to focus on Firewind because I just felt like, you know, I was putting my own band, because Firewind was my own band, you know, from the beginning, and I felt like I was putting it on the side for everything else and everybody else, and I wasn't very happy with that thought, you know. And actually in the summer of 2005, when I was playing with Arch Enemy, I thought to myself, you know, if I continue with this band, it's going to be like a really full-time job, you know, and I won't have any time for Firewind or anything else. So that's when I really sat down and asked myself, you know, what do you want to do? And that's when I decided that, you know, now is the time to really focus on Firewind, otherwise this band would never go anywhere. And to answer the second part of your question, no, I don't really feel like, I don't really feel the urge to go out there and play with a bunch of other bands or other musicians at the moment, you know. I'm happy where I am.
Right, definitely. Well, Gus, obviously the new album is called The Premonition. This is this the second album that Apollo has sang on with you?
Yes.
Okay, with that, you know, I mean, clearly, with Allegiance, Apollo stepped in, did a masterful job, but it was a different vibe. This time going in with Apollo established in the band, and with, you know, and with the lineup as a whole being established, you know, was it different this time going in? Were you guys more in tune with each other because you spent a year and a half, you know, working the last record?
Exactly. I mean, like I said in the beginning of the interview, you know, it was a bit smoother. The whole process was just smoother. I mean, we know each other much better now. Now it's more like a family, you know what I mean? we've been all over the world together. We toured like 1.5 years. You know, we've been through, you know, highs and lows, so to say. So it's, you know, it really made, you know, we felt more comfortable with each other, more relaxed, you know, in the studio.
Sure. Now, Gus, this is just something I'm curious about, and I don't even know if you'll have an answer to this, but I figured I would ask you. You know,
okay.
You as a guitar player, I mean, it's no secret that, you know, when you look across the globe, not just necessarily United States, but all across the globe, you personally are considered one of the, I would say one of the top 5, top 10 guys that are out there, and I'm sure you know that. I mean, you know, you've seen it, and
I don't know.
Well, I mean, to the fact that you've been named the best guitar player in magazines before and stuff. I mean, clearly you're not a hack. You know, I'll put it that way, okay? But what is it about a guy like yourself, you know, that is a guitar player that plays in bands? What is it that makes you go for a band, whereas I'll throw Yngwie Malmsteen's name in the picture? That guy goes and he's Yngwie Malmsteen, and then everything revolves around him, where you seem more band-oriented. What do you think it is that draws the difference between the two, or between the perception of you versus like an Yngwie?
Well, Yngwie is a solo artist, you know. I'm not a solo artist. I play in a band, you know. I mean, I have my own band, but it's more like a democratic band, you know. It's not like I decide for everything, you know. We have, you know, we have input from all members, and we take decisions together. That is the main difference, you know. And of course, it's under the moniker Firewind.
Sure.
Not my name or something.
Right.
I mean, Yngwie Malmsteen, I guess the difference is, you know, he also composes everything in his band. He does everything, you know. Whereas, you know, being in a band, it gives you the opportunity to work with other songwriters, you know, like, you know, I mean, my bandmates, they're all songwriters, and they're good songwriters. So I like to write with them, you know. I believe it's better to have other people giving in input and writing songs, you know, because it just makes the effort much better. And I think, you know, establishing a name as a guitar player through a band, I don't know, I think it feels more important to me, actually.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
Man. Cool. Well, Gus, with Firewind, one of the things I did read about, you know, online was that when you guys played Prague Power last year, you actually, your one of your long lost vocalists, Stephen Frederick, joined you guys for a couple of songs. What was that experience like?
It was strange, you know. We didn't really rehearse anything. He just walked on stage and did a couple of the old songs with us. But it felt nice, you know. I mean, we'd never played with him before. Actually, the other guys hadn't even met him before. I had only met him once, and it was cool, you know. It was cool. I mean, it was cool to hear songs like "And the Anger," for example, with the original vocalist, you know. Sure.
Very cool, man. Well, Gus, with Firewind, man, what does the next year or so look like for you guys? It's going to be another heavy year of touring for you guys?
You mean for 2009?
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know what's going to happen in 2009 yet. I mean, so far we're lining up more tour dates for the fall of this year. And I don't know, we're actually working on a DVD. We're going to start working on a DVD this summer. And hopefully we can release it by the end of the year, or maybe early next year. And hopefully we can tour a little bit more next year. Maybe not that heavily, but, you know, hopefully visit some place we haven't been before. I have hopes that I would like us to go to Russia or South America or Australia. These are places we've never been before.
Sure. Well, Gus, one thing that I always wonder, being here in the States, is why is it that bands such as Firewind, or even your past bands like Dream Evil and stuff, why is it that these kind of just traditional big guitar power metal type bands just don't seem to break the U.S. market? What do you think it is that keeps that kind of music, you know, in the underground here in the U.S.?
I really don't know, man. I really don't know, actually. Maybe too much hip-hop here? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we are one of the few bands of our style that, really make the effort to come over here and play, even if we're losing a lot of money. But we're trying to also establish not only our name, but also this style in the American market. But it's not an easy task, and I don't know. I think maybe a lot of people are into this, the more extreme metal bands, or the emo or whatever, or the new metal, hardcore, whatever, metalcore bands, because this is just this is, I guess, a style that has been breeding from America, and it's also a style that has been introduced to big festivals like Ozfest you have here for many years. So mainly the fans is into that kind of music. I don't know.
Sure.
I'm just guessing,
Right. It's interesting though that you chose to stick with. It's interesting that you chose to stick with Firewind though, because you were in a band that was doing some of that more extreme stuff with Night Rage, and obviously you did some touring with Arch Enemy too. What was it that made you decide to go with Firewind then? Was it just because it was your own band?
It was my own band, and it's the music that I want to play.
Okay.
As much as I like death metal, it's not really the music that I could see myself doing in a long-term thing,
Sure.
It was more like a fun thing for me, I like to play some more extreme stuff as well, but, it just got to the point where I just got out of it, I personally enjoy vocal, I enjoy music with vocals, with actual vocals, not screaming vocals,
Right. All right. Well, Gus, obviously the new album by Firewind, it's called The Premonition. It's out now on Century Media Records. And what am I missing that you want people to know, Gus?
Well, we're going to be on tour in the U.S. Until June 11th. People can check our websites at firewind.gr and myspace.com/firewind for all official tour dates of ours. And thank you for the interview, and we hope to be back soon,
Sure. Well, Gus, before I let you go, man, as a tradition on the show, we always let the artist pick a closing track. So what track would you like us to end this with?
Any track, you mean, by any band?
By your band, or any one of your bands, or any band, really.
Oh, okay. Wow, that was the toughest question so far. I love so many songs, but I don't know, maybe you can play for me The Mob Rules by Black Sabbath.
All right.
Cool. Why that one?
Yeah.
Oh, I like it.
Fair enough. Well, let's check it out. It's Black Sabbath with The Mob Rules right here on Your Classic Metal Show.
Thanks for checking out the Best of the Classic Metal Show. You can tune into the Classic Metal Show live every Saturday night from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern, exclusively at www.theclassicmetalshow.com.
The Classic